So good morning, everybody. I am Philip Alderfer. This is another First Friday Speaker Series call, and I'm thrilled to have two rock stars with us in the room today. My co-host and co-presenter, as always, Jason Flynn. Jason, you're doing well?
Yeah, so Slavik just had a couple more degrees and it's snowing. We're having like a massive heat wave. It's really hot, like 90 degrees today, which is that's already hot for us for summer, let alone October. So.
Let alone October, yeah. So same planet, different
over
world.
here.
Yeah, same planet, different worlds. And with us in the room today, I am thrilled to have Slavik with us. Slavik Lund is a Rockstar loan originator, friend, also Anchorage, Alaskan resident. Slav, tell us a little bit about you. First of all, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And what I meant by the snow is Anchorage is weird because a little bit of it is above sea level, and so you got like half of Anchorage that hasn't had snow yet, and then you got half of Anchorage that like drives in and they're like, man, it snowed this morning, it melted, turns into slush. So we're right in that in between season.
That's right.
But yeah, a little bit about me. I got into loan origination about almost 3 years ago. I started with construction and rehabbing. Before that, there was at one point where fix and flips were my primary income. And for those that do that, they can understand that it's not really a consistent, steady drip of income. It's kind of like a little bit of cash here, a lot of bit of cash here, no cash there. And what I needed something more consistent. I made a call to a friend who became a realtor. And I'm like, hey man, how is it being a realtor? And he goes, hey man, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing loans now. And I said, what's that look like? 45-minute chat. And 4 weeks later, I'm taking my exam. So that's how fast it changed. It all changed for me.
That's right. And I think I first ran into, you were on my radar. I was aware of this person named Slavik Lund from the flip, the kind of the fix and flip world. It was always, we did in our real estate team, we did a lot of that business. And it was always one of those, who's going to get the project first? Are these guys going to get it? Is Slav going to get it? There were only a few good deals out there. And so you knew that there were a half dozen people that were all circling around the same good project. And that was where I first got to know the name Slavik Lund. So I'm thrilled that we're at this stage. Yeah, cool. So, okay. So when did you first get into the loan game? When was that exactly?
It had to have been right at the end of 2020. Right at the end, I was dipping my toes in. And so 2021 was my first 3/4 partial year of doing this full time.
Got it. So you came in right during COVID, during the middle of a whole new world.
Right in the middle of COVID.
I'm curious, like when you start, Jason and I know what it's like to start a real estate business, but when you are going through the process of getting licensed, and this is not something we had talked about before, just curious, like what do they say you should do to build a business as an LO? How does that process look? Typically,
no one tells you that at first. And so the company that I joined with, the guy I was looking up to was 6 months ahead of me. So there's a lot of answers, a lot of questions here, and I didn't feel confident with questions to a guy that's been in there for 6 months. And so I didn't have any guidance at first.
Okay.
But then I pivoted to another company and the pieces started to fit. And so one of those was tell more people that you're a loan originator. It's like step one. It's like step one of being a realtor. Just get out there and tell people. And that's it. Yeah. It's just get out there and tell people.
Yeah. Have more conversations.
Yeah. Talk to more people.
Yeah. Talk to more people. Yeah. Okay. And so most LOs would do that by knocking on doors, going to events. What's the typical routine?
Typical routine, telling more, probably starting with your referral partners and realtors is a great place to start. Now, I don't know if that's normal or that's taught. That's just what we were taught here. That's just, that's flow of the cycle and how the process works. So I imagine that's where a lot of people start, but essentially you just want to be out there and be valuable, have good conversation, ask good questions, and you'll find yourself in the right spot.
Yeah. But you pivoted.
I did.
You pivoted early in your career. Yeah.
I did something different. I found myself in a position where I had a new business. I was out there. We're commission based, and new business, new baby on the way. Okay. And I had to get out there without being out there. So my wife set a couple expectations. New baby coming. Going to need to be home for a little bit. And my thought process is like, ooh, that's not going to work, but I had to make it work. Right. And so I thought, what can I do? And then I looked at, I looked at some data and I'm like, okay, eyeballs on social media, lots of people, that's part of their day. I see professionals on social media doing their thing. I'm like, okay, let me digest this. Let me put this piece together. And that's exactly what I did. On the day I only got one. On the day my baby was born, I posted my first video. Short form, Instagram, kind of messy. I don't even have those videos anymore because they were so hard to watch. I like removed that library and started remaking the same stuff.
Got it. Okay, so day one, baby is born. That's the first day you say, all right, this is the new normal for me. So what did that look like at the beginning?
At the beginning, you got to come up with the process. You got to come up with, what are you going to do? Like, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be dancing on your TikTok videos, on your Instagram. And so I found something called infotainment. It's information that I can put out, that I can be valuable, that I can answer questions without even getting the question to whoever needs to know or wants to know at the time. And so I pivoted to first-time home buyers. Here's some basic information, and that's it. And again, video after video.
Yeah. Why did you choose short? And again, the theme for today, if you're just watching this broadcast or you missed the title, or just as a reminder, the theme for today is how to turn direct messages into dollars, right? How we use short form video to attract conversations and then convert those conversations into business. What was it that was attractive about that platform to you initially? I mean, you could have gone, there's a variety of social media platforms out there. Why video?
Video, specifically Instagram, what I picked up, and I also received a little bit of coaching, and I talked to the pros, and I found who I needed to talk to develop faster. And Instagram specifically has a couple different things that are going for it. One, it's losing market share to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So the platform is pushing your videos to strangers for free. Okay. Number two, YouTube is really intimidating. And I thought, well, I should probably start small before I go big. So I was like 30, 45 seconds. I could talk for that much. I could talk for that long and still provide value without kind of losing that retention.
Yeah. Got it. So it was purposeful. I mean, it wasn't the move to Instagram wasn't an accidental, I just fell into it.
I had to do something. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were studied about it. Interesting. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So talk us through then what building a business around Instagram looked like for you.
So building the business around. So what I found myself in a brand new position, new baby, new business. And frankly, I was terrified and I had to pivot. So I asked myself essentially, how do I get out there without being out there? Video, that works. That makes me present. That makes me right there in front of people. And then I thought about what kind of value can I add? So I saw people are on social media all over the place. And so I asked myself, why social media and why this platform? And I came up with three things. And one of the most valuable assets that we have in this room today is our attention. And when you're able to capture the attention and capture eyeballs, you have the ability to own the narrative. And in today's market, the narrative controls everything from the news, TV, bad stuff that gets a lot of views. That's in a way controlling the narrative. Number two, it's not news, but like digital marketing is taken over at a phenomenal speed. There is a race for eyeballs. There's a race for attention. There's a race for that's like the new currency, right? How long can you hold somebody's attention? And number three, the data was all over the place. And I'm constantly seeing more and more of it, that the people who are in the service industry who are outperforming by outposting their competitors or their competitive set are picking up market share only because people are on social media a lot. That's where a lot of society's attention is, from learning to education to dumb stuff. Like that is replacing television. Maybe I already did. And I thought that was a network effect that's never happened before, and I'm going to jump on it. And so,
I've told people, like with YouTube, like right there where you just said, like losing where the attention is shifting. I've told people with YouTube, I would drop Netflix, I would drop HBO, I would drop all my other subscriptions if I could only have one, and it'd be YouTube. Like a lot of that is shorts, so kind of similar to Instagram Reels, right? And it's like, the attention completely moved.
It's nuts. It's like I have a Netflix, but I think about it every often. I'm like, when did I actually sit down and watch Netflix? I feel like that time freedom has kind of moved away from me. I'd rather be on YouTube learning something or seeing something exactly that I want, rather than what Netflix would like me, offers you to watch. And that's where the creator world is taken over. In fact, I saw I didn't verify this data, but I saw something that the streaming services have lost billions of dollars in the past year because the creator atmosphere is coming out, and I could find somebody that is showing me exactly what I want to watch, and I'll keep watching. Fascinating.
I saw it just on that stats piece. Currently, the ad spend or the marketing spend in the creator universe, this is from Ad World or one of the advertising, industry magazines. The current investment in creator driven content is around $250 billion a year. It's anticipated to be $450 billion by the end of 2025, I think. So like the next 24 months. Just a huge shift in the way advertisers are investing their dollars in the creator space versus that whatever traditional media. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Cool. So you said you went into this very purposefully, recognizing the need to capture attention and built a system around it. And if we can, I'd love to pivot to that, because I think that's why we're here. It's like, what exactly did you do to capture more attention and capture more eyeballs? How'd you set that up?
Well, I realized that my field is very difficult. Like real estate, great. Mortgage origination, boring. Most realtors, and I found that going through home buying videos, most mortgage people and most realtors don't know how to present it. They're boring, or they appear to be boring on the screen.
Yeah.
We all meet with the clients. We want to over explain and show our authority and value, but we want them to understand, and we end up losing them because the attention isn't there. But in short form videos, less is more. You want to be clear, not clever, and we recognize this. And I want to put out the information in a way that everyone can hear and understand. No introductions. We don't do hello, hi, here's the what. Nope, no, you already lost them. You want to dive right in to like that drip of dopamine that they're looking for. You want to match them there, then provide the value at the same time. And so, for example, something automatically I say, and I teach this in my sphere and my local audience for the people that want to do this. And one of the big aspects I tell them is, instead of saying, here's the difference between two different loan products. Yeah, FHA, conventional. Like, they don't know that. They don't want to hear that. You got to capture them as, here's how you, speaking to the audience, speaking to that one person you're making eye contact with in that moment on that video. Here's how you can buy this with this much money, right? So everyone wants to buy a home or a piece of property, and they don't have what they think they need to have. And by telling them or showing them that, hey man, you only need a little bit of money to buy this asset, I'm now zooming out. I'm zooming out from talking about the minutia of the loan programs to talking about the broader appeal, the big aspect, the long-term effect. Yeah. And that's how I noticed that that's a good way to capture attention. Yeah.
I want to put, so something you just said, I want to put on a t-shirt: be clear, not clever. That I like. If there's one thing you leave with today, I know there's, at least that's the first thing I'm going to leave with today, is be clear, not clever. That's
put it on a t-shirt
message. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So then you started building. You've built a real machine around this, and I don't want to force you to share all the secrets, but I know you've got a couple of slides.
Yes,
maybe some, yeah, I do. We want you to share the secrets. I would love to see if we're okay. We're now focused on short form video. We know why. We're trying to capture attention, get that mind share. We're going to be clear, not clever. How do we actually package videos that grab that attention and convert those into conversations? Because that's I think something that you do really, really well, is convert those. Even a lot of people do short form video, but it doesn't turn into a two-way interaction. How do you make that happen?
So the structure of these videos, and it's not every video, but this is the rules that I follow. Essentially, the structure that I follow is, there's got to be a hook. You got to have a hook. You got to have the problem, and you got to have the solution. You got to have the hook to hook in your audience. You want to say something to attract them, or to tell them right away within the first couple seconds what you're the expert at and why they want to watch it. And if that is for them or directed towards them, they'll watch it. And so, for example, in my industry, an example I use a lot is, here's a terrible mistake home buyers make. So you've got a mistake. People want to avoid mistakes. Lots of people are home buyers or will be home buyers or have that in the back of their mind, and they're gonna tune in and listen. So even indirectly, if they at one point will be buying a home or considering buying a home or talking to their spouse, their friends, they're indirectly absorbing information and they don't even know it. So I just captured their attention by telling them a piece of value. And it's common for you and I, Phil, to kind of overlook this, but there's a conversation I have probably in this market, probably once every 2 weeks, where the person doesn't know that they don't need to put down 20%, which is very basic information, but very important information. We just take it for granted because we do this a lot.
Yeah.
And so I will, you've got the Dave Ramsey people out there telling you save 20%. Well, they don't need to, and how, and I actually show them how you're losing money by waiting. And so the structure would be like, here's a terrible mistake home buyers are making. They think they need to put down 20% on a home, but by avoiding PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, you're actually losing money. Then I go to like a next slide and I just do very basic breakdown of the numbers. And I show them that, by waiting for 3 years or waiting 2 or 3 years, the price of the home you wanted goes from this much to this much. And you only actually ended up saving a teeny tiny bit, if any, but you lost in the long run.
Yeah.
And so that is an example of an incredibly boring topic, probably the most boring topic in the world, PMI, but I'm zooming out. And so the video will get 500, 1,000, 2,000 views. It's not an attractive topic, but out of those couple people that watched it, they DM me, they ask a question, something in the DMs prompts them and they will ask. And when they ask, that is a conversation, and conversations lead to appointments, and you've got something to work with there. And that's the big one, is I found that a lot of people are really interested in these financial hacks, these tricks, these shortcuts to wealth, this hacking your future. You just have to present it the right way. So here's another one. Now, this is actually the structure. This is the formula. You can use this for anything, at any industry, at any scale, if you're in sales. Here's how you can do X, even if you have this problem. So here's how you can buy a home, even if you have less than perfect credit score. Or here's how you can use other people's money to buy a duplex and only put down a little bit of money. Or here's how you can get any girl's number, even if you're a nerd. It's the same structure over and over again. Insert any top. You can use that structure for like 20 videos. Yeah. So we're aiming at the hook, the problem, the solution. For anyone in the audience, if you are doing the scroll in the evening, you found yourself on the couch and you start going into these videos that you're watching, you will see a similar structure for that niche.
Yeah. Hook, problem, solution. Hook, problem, solution. Yeah. You mentioned some good.
So by them running into a home buying video, they're gonna share that video with whoever they're talking to. Spouse, family, friend, coworker, and that ends up being shareable content regardless if somebody is in a transaction or not. Maybe they're planning a ways out. Maybe they're a ways, but they're still thinking about it. They're going to save that video. They're going to share that video. They're going to interact somehow.
Yeah. So the way you've generated the conversation is by presenting a common problem, a solution to a common problem that triggers the need for more follow-up from how would this affect me specifically? Is that that's what you're seeing?
I am taking a niche topic and I'm giving it a broad appeal. We're giving a broad appeal by zooming out and talking about the big effect. You can't possibly, with any topic, get everything in 30 to 45 seconds. But if I can hit the big picture of the opportunity within that topic, that's what we're aiming at. People want the opportunity.
Got it. I love that.
Well, and I think it's that context of like how you said, here's how you can X even if you Y, right? And so it's like that's the context right there, is like, even if you, what is it in Phil Jones' book, Exactly What to Say? Like one of my favorite ones in there is, if you're like most people, or if you're a bit like me, that's exactly what you're doing right there. Even if you are exactly like most people, here's how you could still buy a house with 3% down. Or 3%, right? So that's a really good hook, problem, solution.
I just listened to that book, and before listening to that book, I attended a 2-day workshop with Todd Bookspan and Deborah Bird about that book, and that is a crazy book. You want to hear a crazy statistic? And I don't know if this is in the book or not. The average Audible audiobook is listened to about 0.3% of the way through, according to Audible statistics. This book, eight times the average person listens to top to bottom. Isn't that crazy? That's how good the book is.
I mean, I literally have 3 books sitting. I mean, I have at home, tons and tons of books at work.
Yeah.
I have 3 sitting right there, and this is one of them. It's just his real estate edition of it.
Yeah.
And so it's literally one of the best books that
It's
you
great.
can have kind of nearby.
And this is not a shame.
I mean, and honestly,
No, go ahead.
you could go through this book, like you could literally go through this book and say, this one's, I just opened a random one. Just imagine. There's your hook right there. Just imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you could X even if you Y. Right? Yeah. Here, let's try it one more time just for fun, see what happens. Number 24. What makes you say that? I would maybe change it to think, right? In this case, say, what makes you think that you can't X if you Y?
If you Y.
It's like, boom, there's your hook. Right. I have
it right here.
There you go. There you go.
Right. I have a Word document I'm working on as a value to my referral partners. And I like that because it's objection-free openers, right? That's the thing. You're questioning the other person's perspective by asking good questions. So I have a Word document I'm building for real estate with every single objection and how to answer it with everyone. It's awesome. I love the book. Great.
This is not a shameless plug for Phil M. Jones, but we're going to keep it going. He was on, I had the opportunity to be on a call with him last week. Just right now, his group, and I don't know exactly where you find it online, just Google Phil M. Jones. They are releasing, a set of flashcards that are conversational. Yeah, it's the problem, like the opener and the problem and the conversational tip. And you just shuffle them up. And you lay one from each stack. And you say, all right, using exactly what to say, sort of principles or kind of as a training aid. The objection is interest rates are too high. Your client is this, you are this. Go. And it's a way to just sharpen the conversational axe using role play flashcards. It's great. It's absolutely great. Yeah. All right, so let's go back though. So you said you'll get 500 to 1,000. If we could dive into the technical side for a minute. How many people typically watch? You said 30 to 45 seconds long. So that's what you're aiming for when you're doing these short forms?
I am always experimenting. I don't have a one size fits all answer because if you focus on that too much, the platform will evolve and you're set in your ways. The only approach I work on or want to consistently do is value to that person. If it takes me longer to say it, I will cut out words. I want to stay on the platform so you can go up to 90 seconds on the video.
Yep.
But really, if you're putting in a bunch of minutia, not value add, you're going to lose it. And you can see in the metrics that people drop off at 15 seconds in the video. And so all I try to do is value again and again. And so some videos do great, some videos don't. It just depends. But by doing great, people often connect that with metrics and views. Mm-hmm. If you post a video and it get 300 or 400 views and you started 2 conversations in your direct messages, you just got 2, not even leads, engaged leads, right? And potentially they may just have a question or a comment or something, but they are actively engaging with you. And that's exactly the point. That is the whole point of all of this, is just to get conversation out there. Best way to do that, value. No call to action, no catchphrase, no link, no sign up. Just here's a drip of information and I'm out. Again, and again.
So, all right. So typically how many conversations would you get per video? Would you get at this stage right now? What's normal?
Interestingly enough, it depends on the topic. Right now, a very popular topic is home equity, like cash. People need cash and they're sitting on a lot of it. As up to this morning, I heard Barry talking about the average equity position is $250,000 across the US for that person has that much equity in their home. So that's a big topic. They want to pull money out. So if I do a video on the cash you're sitting on, or you're sitting on a pile of cash, whatever the case may be, that will prompt more conversation. And so that tells me is, oh man, that's a hot topic. And so an example I use a lot is a local home equity line of credit video where I just explain your house is worth, payment is here, your house is worth here, everything in between is your equity. And even by using my hands it's a visual aid, and people will engage. And that video, I think that video alone got 5 or 6 people to DM me and talk about it. And 1 or 2 of those turned into an application. That is a win. That's all I'm aiming at.
Yeah. and you use the word consistency a lot, Slav. I would love it if you would share with our crew how often, like, what does consistency mean to you when you say we need to post value consistently?
That's such a good question, because it depends. And what I like to say is this: consistency means something different to everybody. And instead of coming out and just saying, oh, it's a video per day and having this intimidating goal in front of you, consistency means whatever you can do on repeat every week. So if that's one video per week, if that's one video per month, start there and do it over and over again. And only when you have that down with reps will you find the space to double that production. That's all it is. Whatever you can start with. I started with 2 a week. I think I did one Tuesday and Friday. That's it. But then I realized that as your structure and your time blocking and your day builds out, you make time for it. And then all of a sudden you get better. Weird. You do something more and more and more, you get better at it. Crazy. And so then I found this time to put in more in. And I restarted my Instagram account, I think May or April of this year. And I've personally built a system that can handle almost a video a day. I mean, I miss some days, but generally I'm aiming at a video a day.
I love that idea of defining consistency as an execution within a time frame, whatever level that is. Like, get comfortable with that, commit to that. 1 a month, fine, that's where you are. Master that, move on. Yeah, we learn in the doing, not in the thinking. So let's get to action. Yeah.
Did you say, when you say you relaunched your account, is that a brand new account or just kind of deleted everything and started over?
No, brand new. Yeah. Zero followers.
Zero followers. So it's only 14 weeks ago. I'd already, while we've been talking, I've been stalking you. So it was only 14 weeks ago, right? So that's, like April, May, like you said. And
I think it was end of March or May 1st was when I started it. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, and you have 6,000 followers in that short amount of time, right? Which is, especially in the real estate space, for like any average real estate agent or mortgage lender, anybody like that, like that's a solid number. And so that's kind of encouraging, I think, for a lot of people. Say you could start over at zero and get to there in 4 months, 4 or 5 months. That's pretty solid. And I think you're right. It's probably that consistency.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we should think about when we're thinking about the technical, the production side of short form video? Any tips or tricks that you've learned that are obvious traps people sometimes step into?
I've taught a couple, I call them local content days here, where I would get small group, 1 or 2 to 3 people, and we go through the process top to bottom. So it takes a couple hours, the whole process top to bottom. And there is a point where I see the jaw drop to them. So I've already conquered it. And so I'm talking about it like I'm talking about this. And then I see an aha moment. It's the, And what that is, the biggest point of this is, as front end service providers, we get a lot of questions. And there's a couple questions, I'm sure everyone can relate to, that you get asked almost every single day, if not every other day. There's your video. That's your first one. And the most important part is create your scripts ahead of time. Open up your phone. We all got some kind of notepad and write something down. Then open up another page and write something down and work on it. And all of a sudden, if you're intentional about this, you will have a number of scripts that you are working on, right? You want to know what to say. If you don't know what to say and you open up your camera, you're going to mumble, you're going to fumble through it because of the pressure of doing it. But if you follow your script, it will work. And what I like to say is this: build your scripts out. Get 5 to 10 out of the way right away. Block out an hour, set up your phone, record them all at once. And that is the biggest hurdle I see people getting over, is they open up their camera and they're like, what, whose double chin is that? And then they get distracted by the fear. And it's not meant to be perfect. In fact, imperfect actually works better a lot of time, because it's just
it's real.
Opened up my phone. It's raw footage right there. Yeah. And so build the scripts, record all at once, and work on it and post it. That's it.
Literally, while we've been talking, I went to ChatGPT real quick and I said, I want to use this format. Here's how you can blank even if you blank tailored for real estate. And it gave me 10 examples. And so like when you talk about scripts, and like a lot of times you could just use this as a way to just get juices flowing, right? And I would guess most real estate agents can answer all 10 of these. Here's how you can own a luxury home even if you think you're not ready. That's a great, like, here's how to own a luxury home. Will that grab someone's attention? Yes. Here's how you can sell your home fast even if you've never sold a property before. Here's how you can maximize your property's value even if you're on a tight budget. Like, these are all, like, I literally might take a lot of these and start making these videos. Because
not if I do it before you, Jason. Not if I do it before you.
You're busy.
I think I made a video at one point that was like, here's how you can get $1 million home for 50 grand. And what you and I know is that 50 grand is 5%, and that's a standard first time home buyer product, right? But by zooming out and talking bigger, you're attracting that person.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it, obviously, but that is true, and that is a fact, and that is a big fact that people have to come over.
I'm in a wildly expensive market, and I've never thought about that right there, because we'll have people, $1 million home is, there's plenty of them out there right at $1 million, but we'll often laugh because you think of $1 million home, big house on the beach, stuff like this, and these are like kind of sheds, but they're sheds people need to buy. So I've never even thought about that right there. Saying, here's how you could buy $1 million home with $50,000, because a lot of the people we're talking to have more than $50,000 down, right? Because they're, like you mentioned earlier, they've been tuned to, I have to have 20%, and it's 200 grand, right? So it's like, if I totally doing these, I'm stealing all of these. I love it.
And exactly. And you should. And that's what I like to also say is that you don't need to be the most original creator right off the bat. Like, you swipe and adapt. We are not recreating the wheel here. These are not new concepts. This has been around for a long time. Find videos, find creators that you like, follow them, swipe and adapt it by you changing it into your own words, by you doing your own camera movement, by your background. Everything will make it original to you. And here's the crazy part about video. Every single person that watches that video, you are making simultaneous eye contact with. You make one video and it gets seen again and again with no additional energy from you. If 500 people watch your video, if 1,000 people watch your video, that is time out of your day that you no longer had to take to do that, and you could pivot and put that time into something like that you need to be doing. You make one video, you also market and brand yourself at the same time, which has almost never happened in history at this scale before. And then when you find yourself making enough videos, you find that the conversations with your clients are different. They've already seen you. You've already vetted I answered their questions without them even asking you. You've established authority and trust. And I promise you that if you continue this, your business will change. It will adapt. It will scale. And the conversations are different.
Yeah. Be clear, but not clever.
Yeah.
Find the hook, there was problem, and do it consistently. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
There was something else that you had said that, and again, kind of looking at it, when you zoom out on your Instagram, you can figure it out, right? Is your batch creating content, right? So it's like, I can tell right here, here's a series, black shirt, orange hat. It's exactly what you're wearing right now. Then you scroll up a ways and you can tell it's probably even like a month or two later. Okay, green shirt. 2 questions would be: 1, how many are you batch doing at once? And then 2, have you ever gotten negative pushback about that, saying, oh, well, it's obvious that this is what you're doing?
No one has ever brought up that I'm wearing a black shirt. I do. This is my look. This is I go through my closet. There's almost no color, and the color's always off to the side. Like, I am frustrated with the minutia of, I'm not good at design or dressing myself, and I'm frustrated with that decision every day. So I'm like, no, black shirt. Like, I could wear it again and again. Like, different shirts. That's just the look I like, and it's easy for me. It's like I don't want to take up that bandwidth by finding clothes. So that's the look I chose, and no one has ever said anything because it's not important. Because when you post a video, it is not necessarily going to your audience. In fact, only 10% of your current followers will see that video when you think they see it. It gets launched to a whole new audience as like an audition. And if they watch it and engage, man, the platform loves that. It's great. And they'll push it out to more. black shirt, orange hat, white glasses. It's like everyone knows me for that, and no one's ever brought it up. But yes, if you look and you know this piece of information and you look down the feed, you will see batches. And so the number I like to aim at is 8 to 10. And some of them at the end, I'm like, this is like, I can't get this right. It's either too much info or not enough info. And so it just goes on to the next week. But I try to aim at 4 or 5. And here's the interesting part about this is you'll take time to create your scripts, to create the thought you want to talk about, whatever value add. Your filming will take 10 to 15 minutes. Like I'm talking like push record, put it off to the side, and then just talk into the camera. And this is what it's gonna look like right here. You're gonna get all ready. You're gonna be all up in your head, and that's okay. Because until you're comfortable with staring at that dot, it's gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna get sweaty, and then you're gonna do one of these. You're gonna look at your phone. You're gonna look into the phone, and you're gonna say, here's the most common mistake first-time homebuyers are making. Then you're gonna look down. Then you're gonna speak into the mic. Then you're gonna look down, and that is okay to do, and that is 100% fine to do, because at one point, an editor, you are gonna go in and you're gonna remove all those pieces in between, and it's gonna sound fast information quickly, and then you're out. That's it. And that's the moment that most people are like, oh, so you do breathe when you talk. You just remove all that, right? That's that moment where we just took a 60-second raw, unrefined material and we turned it into a gem.
Yeah. Do you do your own editing now, or have you?
That's my next question.
Yeah.
I do not. I think it's important to start. It's important to start because when you delegate out, you need to know how to delegate out. You don't have to. I certainly don't think everyone should, but I did. And I'm a kind of a computer nerd. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play around with this. Free software is great. You don't need to pay a lot for this. CapCut is a popular.
CapCut's fantastic.
Lo and behold, they have a desktop version. It works great. And it's live. So it updates with the updates. And so I'm able to, but I don't. Only because I built the machine that allows me to do my job, and that's all working in the background. And so what I do is I literally upload unrefined product to long videos. They're boring, but those little incremental parts is what gets seen.
Yeah.
And this is for my own, like now I'm asking questions literally just for me. So I feel like I'm personally at that phase there where I can do the editing. I do it. I actually even sometimes enjoy it, but I do get held up in getting content out. Like I'll even record it and I just never end up editing it. So I want to find someone to do that. Where would I start to try to find like a remote person to send that to get edited?
You've got two big assets. You've got your time and you've got your money, right? So if you don't have the time where you are stuck, then you have to compensate with money to get it done. Don't let the lack of those two get in your way, because you have one or the other. If you haven't made a decision, you haven't prioritized it. This will change business, I'm pretty sure, in almost any industry. And when you do that, you can do one of two things. Fiverr is great to start. You could ask your Facebook sphere for a video editor. I've gone through Fiverr, I've gone through a number of editors, and here's my biggest piece is get somebody that you could build a relationship with that will understand your voice. This takes time. You will go through that one-off editor, you'll go through another editor that's just not syncing, and you will find one that just works. And I could literally upload a really unrefined piece of, I don't even know what it is at the moment, and they will make it into something. And so you need the creative aspect and the artist, and you got production editors. You could average $20 to $30 per edit. Like that's as little as it gets. And a lot of people are thinking that might be a lot of money times 10. But the impact long-term, the brand building, the information, the not answering the questions is invaluable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Philip keeps saying, like you've built the system in the machine now.
The system in the machine.
So it's like that, okay, $300. Let's say it's 30 a video, you do 10 videos a month, $300. But when it's a machine, and like you said, if every video even starts one conversation, that's massive. If you could have 10 hot new conversations a month, you're doing fantastic. Right?
It's just advertising. You either spend it to advertise a product and you pay somebody $300 to push out advertising. Advertising is just the process of being known or getting known. That's it. And you could push ads, or you could just push value, which is kind of doing the same thing, but you're offering a lot more when you're offering the value that looks like an ad, but it's just value. It's just you talking.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting way to think about it too, of just change the mindset around this is your marketing dollars, right? So is there somewhere else that maybe, I don't always want to knock on the big Z, but when people are spending thousands of dollars on some sort of platform that's bringing them in a few cold leads, or call them medium warm leads, what if you took just $300 out of that? So you're spending, especially productive agents might be spending $1,000 to $2,000 a month on something like that at least. Okay, what if you took 300 away from Zillow and put it into this, right? So you still have some of your Zillow running, you still have some of those leads coming in, but now you're starting to create your own marketing system, your own marketing machine that you own these leads 100%, right? And I'm sure it took time. I'm sure it wasn't your first video, 3 people knocked down your door filling out loan applications, right?
Yeah. The most valuable thing that anybody, well, I talk real estate and mortgage, so I'll use this as an example. It's tough out there. It really is. There's loan officers and agents that aren't getting paychecks. And so it's very easy to think, oh, I'm going to move on or get a second job or something like that. But now is the time to double down. Now is the time to double down. So last year in October, November, December, lots of loan officers didn't get a commission check. I think maybe I was even on that list, but I doubled down because that's what our leadership said. And as I doubled down, starting January through April, I was top producer in the state, top 3. I'm not even 3 years in, right? So capturing that information is really important to double down, because the market we're in now, in my industry, it's not the market that's going to be around forever. And so every single thing I'm talking about here, I'm doing. I'm not a coach, I'm not a strategist, I'm not an influencer, I'm just doing it. And when you take off the filter and you look back at the information, we know that people buy based on emotion, and then they validate it later with knowledge. They typically buy and work from the people that they like and trust, and that's our job. That's our job as individuals, as the front line, as the service providers, to capture trust and have a personal brand. And so how do we do that? Well, they'll buy from you, or they'll like and trust you if you do these 4 things on social media. When you make content that teaches them something, they like you. When you make them laugh, they like you. That's that other content that I'm not very good at it. When you show them something relevant, time sensitive, so they learn from you, they like you. When you show them something within their niche, they'll probably like you. And the most important part is delay the ask. Delay the call to action. Don't go your intro. This is John's from John's Realty. Nope. Just value. Don't ask for anything and get out of there. Because whenever you give without asking, you deposit goodwill into your audience. And after you deposit enough, they will come to you to ask. And so Gary Vee popularizes this method where he's like jab, 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 hook. You give, and then you ask. And this is a spin-off off that, where you give some more, never stop giving, and then they ask you.
And right? They come to you.
They come to you.
Yeah. Good. This time has gone really fast today, and that is a testament to you, Slav, and what you've given us. So I want to make sure that people know where to find you. First of all, how do we find you on Instagram?
Slavik Home Finance. That's it. My first name, Slavik, Home Finance. Watch the videos, replicate the videos, share the videos. Because remember, it's starting a conversation in your market. Your clients will ask you the question if I prompt them to. It's a valuable tool.
Yeah, I love that.
Do I have one more question?
Go, Jason.
I forgot to ask this one. So this is all short form. Do you basically only do short form, or do you ever do like long term or long form, like explainer type videos, like in YouTube or anything like that?
I will be by the end of this year. I'm not doing that yet, but I have my goal. That's a big goal for me, is to do that, have one product ready before the year ends.
And because I kind of like this as advice for, obviously we're talking mostly agents, where it's saying like, when you sit down and try to do those longer videos, right? When I look at, like, Philip and I often talk about like Ali Abdal, he does these amazing videos that are highly produced, and you have to have scripts, you have to have all these different things in place. This is so much simpler. Like, just go out there, do this to start building the audience. And then that way, when you then come back later with a longer form content, boom, there you go. Like, you already have the eyeballs, you already have a lot of their trust as well. And then you could actually even start figuring out which subjects to actually make the long form content on.
A lot of people do that the other way. They will film their long form and then take shorts out of that. And that way you're hitting two birds with one stone, two different markets, two different platforms.
Yeah. But I think if you had to choose one, I think I'd push people toward short form. It's just easier, lower barrier to entry, right? Like just jump in, like you said, hold your phone, hit record. I use like the Gorilla Pods, right? These things are stupid cheap. It just sits right here on my desk. I can throw my phone on it, hit record, like you have a very, I mean, on the videos on your Instagram, it's all very well lit and everything. And it's like, it doesn't take much to get close enough, right?
Close enough.
So, this was all for this. This is not how this normally looks like.
I see a Gorilla Pod in the background.
Oh yeah, that guy. I haven't used that in a long time. All you need is light. Good light on your face. Yeah. Your phone will do the rest. $100 light is way more important than dropping any kind of money on a camera. Absolutely not. Yeah. Your phone is incredible.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. We're going to end it there. For those of you that are interested in learning more, maybe even some more of the technical detail, comment either in the Facebook feed, shoot Jason or I a message. We might have a little bit of a surprise, some additional opportunity to work with Slav on an actual training platform, a little bit of how to the tech, even more of the technical detail behind it. So if you're interested in that, please do let us know. Slav, anything we didn't talk about that we should have?
Probably a lot, but I understand the time constraint. I'm happy to help. You can ask me a question right on the direct messages and Instagram. I answer all of them. Might take me a day, but I always get back to people. I try to be as helpful as I can. It's there as a tool. It's an educational platform, and that's how I like to see it.
Beautiful. Find him on Instagram. Jason, anything else for you?
No, that was good.
Good stuff today. Gentlemen, thank you both. Thanks to everybody that's watching this. We will be back with you in a month. We're going to have another U.S. Olympic athlete with us to round out the year on First Friday. So look for that in November. Until then, everybody be safe, be well, and we'll see you out there.